We'll open the floor for any comments or questions from the audience. Going to begin with Scott and ask him to make his statement first. Let me note in advance that he will have to leave before the Q&A session because he has other commitments in connection with tomorrow's celebration of the 1963 team. But we're glad to have him with us and introduce Scott Kramer.
In the next 10 minutes or so, I'd like to share with you 5 elements of what I consider the evolution of leadership. Ron referenced change. Many of these elements have changed over time, many have not, and I try to point those out to you. What I would like to talk about applies to both the business world, where I came from Spalding, which was owned successively by the Cisneros family, by KKR, and most recently by Warren Buffett. So that's the background from which I bring some of my comments today. Quite frankly, I have found many leaders not prepared for the task ahead of them, and I'd like to kind of focus on, as I mentioned, the 5 key elements today that might be some takeaways for you. The first is the commitment to day-to-day for leaders to improve their skills through continuing education. There's no question that the credibility of leaders that I've seen come from making decisions that are both fact-based and experience-based. But many of them, there's a disconnect. A lot of today's business leaders are young and they have not had the experience of working on the street and managing complex organizations. And many of the senior leaders today have had great experience through leadership but have not had the experience technically, particularly the changes the last 10 or 15 years in technology, in legislation, in currency, and many of the other elements that we're all familiar with. In other words, the environment has changed, but a lot of the key leadership skills have not changed relative to informational skill sets. In a sense, it's like athletes. The athletes continually get better through weight training. It's like educators who have to keep up to speed in their various disciplines because things are moving so fast, particularly, as I mentioned, with technology. And so today, I find that the best leaders who can anticipate issues, who work both on their style and through the substance, are those who formally do something to improve their leadership skills. They're continually wanting to learn over and above